Today I'm going to be covering 5 fragrances that I have forgotten about in the past but have recently rediscovered, and now I'm kind of hooked on these again. So these are going to be fragrances I have had in my collection for a while now, and at one point I was a big fan of them. I started to wear them a lot and therefore got somewhat burnt out on them. Of course, I'm always adding new things to my collection, so it's easy for some of my older fragrances to kind of get pushed towards the back and lost in the shuffle, especially with all these new releases that we have coming out every year, almost every month. It's just crazy to think that at one point these fragrances were rocking my world, and then they were just forgotten about for me up until recently when I kind of rediscovered them, and now I'm kind of hooked on them again. I'm actually in the process of packing up a lot of my fragrances, and in doing so, I've made some discoveries, some stuff that I used to wear all the time. Now that I've smelled them again, I'm really back to liking them, and that's what we're going to be covering today. Let me know if you've had a similar thing happen to you. Of course, this is mostly going to happen if you have maybe a problem like I do, and you have just an absurd amount of fragrances. But I suppose if you have a smaller collection, a similar thing can happen. And I will also provide links to all of these fragrances down below to fragrance discounters, so that way you can grab them and save quite a bit of money off of retail. Each link down below will take you directly to places like Fragrance Net and Fragrance X. It's the quickest way to pick these up at a nice discount. So I'll see you over there. And I'll also see you down in the comments section when you let me know some discoveries you've made and fragrances in your collection that you were obsessed with at one time, kind of forgotten about, and now you're back to loving them. First up, we have this colorful bottle right here, Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. One of my favorite niche bottles just because I love the green, I love the purple as well, and I love how blurry it is. I apologize for that. That's more like it. Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. Great looking bottle, like the purple accenting as well. This is a spring fragrance all the way through. However, I still find it to be very suitable and very fun in the summertime as well. Violet leaf, blueberry, and oak moss are going to be some of the main notes. It's unique. It's different. There are some other fragrances out there somewhat similar to it from, designer brands and stuff trying to get close to it or whatever. But this one here really takes the cake for me in terms of quality and blend and even performance and all of that stuff. Really nice, fun summer and spring fragrance. One that I've had for a while. Kind of ended up forgetting about, and now that I've rediscovered it, I'm really enjoying wearing this one, especially out in the heat. Second up, we have Sauvage Cologne by Dior. Bergamot, grapefruit, and vetiver are some of the main notes in this one. So you still get that traditional cologne type of smell, just like from Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette, and even kind of like Sauvage Parfum. That one's much more rich and very vetiver heavy. You still do get the vetiver in here. You get the nice citrus. It's simply just a lighter, more tolerable, more summertime oriented version of Eau Sauvage. And Eau Sauvage, the Eau de Toilette, is already, a cologne, a citrus aromatic kind of spring and summertime scent, but this one strips it back even more and makes it even more likable and even more wearable, at least for me. While it still does have some of those traditional types of accords here in this one, it is a bit more of a modern take on that older DNA. So this is a nice refresh if you want something that has Eau Sauvage type of vibes, but with a bit of a modern twist, and it kind of will help you fit in today's standards with what's being released now. Love the bottle on this one. Very, very classy. Definitely looks like, some sort of aftershave bottle or something like that. And equally love the fragrance as well. Great, great stuff here for the hottest of summer days. Let's go ahead and move on to a scent from Abercrombie & Fitch. This one is First Instinct Extreme. So I remember I got this one right when it first became available, and I'm talking before this was even available on like the official Abercrombie & Fitch website, and before it was available on retailers as well. I ended up getting it off of eBay, and somehow someone had some stock of it, but it was not anywhere else, and I was so pumped to be the first person or one of the first people to get this one. And I was also really excited because at the time, and even now, I love the original First Instinct, so I was excited to see an extreme eau de parfum version. Musk, pepper, and violet leaf are some of the main notes here in this one. Very musky, spicy, and a bit more warm compared to the original, which is a bit more tropical, fun in the sun, and playful. This one has a bit of a, more mysterious, slightly darker side, just in terms of the added sweetness and spiciness that you get from this one. One way you can put it is First Instinct Eau de Toilette is for the day when you're going out to the beach. First Instinct Extreme is one you can layer over that one in the evening when you're going out to dinner. Easiest way to put it, and it is a good way to wear both of these. It's a nice little sequence. Of course, they layer together great. That's just kind of one way you can look at it. First Instinct Extreme is a bit more expensive on discounters, so that's one thing you'll have to take into consideration. It's kind of really pushing it in terms of the cheapy price, whereas the Eau de Toilette is in that cheapy category. So it's kind of strange, but that's just how it is. Again, I was obsessed with this when it first came out. I was loving it so much. Again, time took its course. This one just kept getting pushed back. It had a very hefty layer of dust on it, and there's still some under the cap. You can actually see it. I'm embarrassed and ashamed to even be showing you this if it shows up, but there's a good amount of dust underneath there. I mean, this is an old bottle at this point, and I haven't cleaned it since, except for just now when I, did one of those. So yeah, this one's been sitting. Rediscovered it here recently, and I gotta say, I really enjoy it. I like First Instinct Extreme. This is a great flanker to the original, and a nice true flanker at that. Not some completely different, super crazy, unique First Instinct together. Yet another Invictus flanker. Yeah, no thank you. This is 10 times better. Following along, we have CH Men. This has to be one of the most unique designer fragrances out there, seriously. And even CH Men Privé is also very good. Two fantastic fragrances. Both are leather fragrances, but they're also completely different. Privé is a leather whiskey scent, and it's a bit more masculine, a bit more rough around the edges, so to speak. The original CH Men is a bit more sugary and sweet. It does have sugar as a note. It's got grass, green grass, and of course leather. And you get all of that. You get a sugary sweetness, you get a very much a green accord, and you get this nice mild leather. It's not as strong of a leather as CH Men Privé. This one is a bit softer, so it may be a bit more appropriate for maybe a close encounter type of thing, or if you just want something that's going to be less perhaps piercing and also a bit less challenging. But like I mentioned a second ago, and this is no joke either, very unique. I mean, there's just something about this that is so satisfying. I've got so many bottles of it too, because I was able to get a bunch of the older style bottles like this with the red ribbon. Obviously, you've heard about it a time or two. Red ribbon versus the new one, and the new one is fantastic as well. So no issues there. I just happen to have this bottle, and I could say this fragrance, new or old, smells incredible. And I kind of forgot about it, even though I have a bunch of it here recently. I discovered this one, gave it a spray, and I was like, wait a minute. That is incredible. I mean, it just smells so great up in the air. Smells even better on skin. The original CH Men, yeah, it's been out. Sure, it's been kind of hyped and forgotten about. But for me, still a great scent, and I'm glad that I picked this one up and smelled it again. It's a bit too sweet for summertime, but in climate-controlled environment, it works great. I will go ahead and end this video on a summer fragrance. This one from Azzaro is Chrome Pure. Orange blossom, watery notes, and tonka bean are some of the main notes, and can you even see this? I mean, it is just so bright, it's not even showing up. But yeah, there you go. This is really a crisp, cool, clean, summertime fragrance. It's an Azzaro Chrome flanker. Doesn't really have too much of the original Chrome going on. I get the orange blossom. I get a bit of a sweetness from the tonka bean. There's a bit of kind of herbal, spicy kick as well. I find this to be a relatively unique and somewhat surprising summer release. It's better than you may expect being a chrome flanker, because there are a lot of chrome flankers. They all kind of get lost in the shuffle. Along with the orange blossom, there's also a bit of a creamy mandarin orange, which mixes with the tonka bean. Great fragrance, and even though there's a bit of a sweetness, it still does maintain as a fresh, clean, dominant style scent. Great for summertime. This one is a similar thing. It gets lost in the shuffle, and this one also happens to be a tester with no cap, and these kind of get pushed to the back because I'm not a big fan of testers with no caps. I like caps when I can get them. This was just a one-off chance where I'm like, okay, I'll just live without it. I'll go ahead and pick it up. It was a good deal. And well, yeah, it gets punished, unfortunately, because I don't like the look of it just sitting there up front and center with no cap. It just looks goofy to me. Come on. That does not look cool. So it gets pushed back. And that's the main reason, honestly, why I forgot about this one. But as I've been looking through, this one popped back up. I gave it a spray and I'm like, yeah, that's great. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. That was 5 fragrances that at one point I really, really loved. I wore all the time. I really exercised them. And then as time took its course, they got pushed aside. They got forgotten about. And then here recently, they've been rediscovered by me to the point where I smell it and I'm like, that is actually really good. And a lot of these here I've been wearing a few days in a row, which normally doesn't happen. I'm normally testing the new stuff all the time and trying different things, but for me to go back and revisit these scents that I've had for a while and wear them consecutively, that means something. That means that these fragrances are pretty great and you should check them out. Again, they will be linked down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.